In this video, I'll show you how to add a navbar and add a style to the navbar. But before we do that, we need to create a CSS file and add some simple styles to the body tag of the project. Now, to create a new CSS file, what we have to do is create a folder called CSS. We call it CSS. Now, inside that folder, we can create a new file and we call it custom.css. Custom.css. Now, inside this custom.css, that is where we're going to have all our CSS codes that we're going to be using in the project. But before we can use this custom.css, we need to link it or call it inside the index.php file. In order to link the custom.css inside the index.php file, we go into the index.php file in the head tag of the page. What we do is we just type link, because as I said earlier, I said for CSS styles we use the link tag, while for JavaScript we use the script tag. So we type link, then we press the tab bar, then it's going to give us the link tab, but we need to put the parts where the custom does, or the folder where we have the custom.css. So to get the custom.css, all we do is we navigate from, because this index.php is in the root folder, so we have to navigate into the directory, the CSS directory where we have the custom.css. So we type dot, then /. As you can see, we have this different folders in the root directory, but we see we have the index.php inside the root directory, then other folders. But the folder we are interested in right now is the CSS folder. Type enter, then we can see this CSS file. So with this, we have been able to link the custom.css file in the index.php. Now we can go to the custom.css file to create a simple HTML style for the body tag. So to do that, we just type body, then with curly, open and close curly brackets. We save the file. Now inside the body tag, we give it some custom CSS. The first thing we need to do, we need to add default background color, and we're going to set the background color to white. So we say background dash color, then we can type white, or we type the hex code, which is F in 6 places. So we have a background color of white. Then we can set the font size. We can set the font size to say 20 pixels. Sorry, set it to 20 pixels. Then we can set the margin. So for this case, for the body, we are going to set the margin and the padding to 0. So for every element that we need a margin or padding, we're going to add the margins and the paddings to them. But for the body, we set the margins and the paddings to 0. So say margin set to 0, and the padding as well set to 0. So for this is just this small styling we are adding to the body tag. Now if we go to our page, refresh and go to our page, we are not going to see much difference on it, except when we start adding elements to the page. Now when we go back to our index.php, the next thing we want to do is we want to add a navbar, a simple navbar to the index.php file. Now to add a navbar, we just let's go to W3 schools. So when you type W3 schools, then we look for learn bootstrap. Then when you click on learn bootstrap, for the bootstrap tutorial, you just scroll down to look for bootstrap navbar. Now here is it, then you click on it. But the navbar we are looking for is the collapsible or the collapsing navigation bar. So we scroll down to look for the collapsible navigation bar or the collapsing navigation bar. So when we scroll down, yeah, this is what we are looking for. We are looking for the collapsing navigation bar. What we have to do is just we copy the code and remove what we don't want from it. So we just copy the code, with Ctrl C. Then we go to our page, our body tag. So the navbar is going to be, every other element now is going to be inside the body tag. Inside the body tag, then we paste. We delete out this. If we go visit the page to see what we have, we're going to have a dark navbar. As you can see, we have a dark navbar, but we don't, most of these things we don't want them, so we have to remove what we don't want. So what we're going to do now, we're going to add an inline CSS style. So the style we're going to add is a background color to the navbar. So we just type style, then we give it background color, colon, then we use the pound symbol. The style we're going to use, I already have it, so just write it. It is 19AFF5. So this is going to give us the color that we want. So we can just save, then go to our browser to view and see how it looks. Now this is how it looks. Now we want to add a style to this, so we can increase the font size of this and change the color to white and remove the hover. As you see, when we hover, the color changes. So let's go to our CSS to change that style. Now before we can add a CSS to the CRUD system, that is the link, the nav with class nav brand, we need to add another class, a custom class to it. Now this class will allow us to have access to this element and give it its own style. Now to do that, first we give the class a name. We can call it CRUD. Then with this, we go to this custom.css file to have access to this. Now to create a CSS for that, for classes, we use the period with the name of the class to have access to that class and that element. Now we say dot, then CRUD, which is the name of the class. Then we'll start giving it its own styles. First, we can set the width to auto so that it's going to resize itself. Then we set the color of the text. Now note that color and background color, they are different. Background color sets the color of an element, the background color of an element, whereby color sets the color of a text inside an element. So we're going to set the background color to white. And one thing we need to add here, we need to add what we call importance. That is, this will allow this color to be the most important color and removing every other color. So we type important, so it will see this white color as the most important color, removing every other color. Then the next thing that we need to add the font size. Let's say the font size of about 25 pixels. Then we can also add font weights. Font weights, we could either give it a number, or we could just type bold, because we want to make the text bold, so we could just give it about 600. Now with these styles, let's see how it looks in the browser. So we click on it and we see this is the styles that we have. The text is now bold and it's white, and if you can see, if I hover on it, it does not show any other color except the white color. So the white color is the important color now that it shows. So this is it. This is the navbar, the simple navbar that we've been able to create. So I'll see you in the next lecture.